everyone, and welcome to Inside Bristol. I'm your host, Sheridan Nichols, and kicking off the show today, we've got Tammy Childress with Abuse Alternatives. Here she is.
Hello, my name is Tammy Childress, and I'm the Community Educator and Volunteer Coordinator at Abuse Alternatives Domestic Violence Intervention Services. My position consists of educating the community on the services the agency provides to victims of domestic violence and their children. I also conduct educational presentations on topics such as the dynamics of domestic violence, dating violence, healthy relationships, stalking, strangulation, and elder abuse to churches, civic groups, schools, employers, and others upon request. I also participate in community events to promote agency services and bring awareness of the effects of domestic violence in our community. I'm here today to talk about October being National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. In 1981, October was designated across the nation as Domestic Violence Awareness Month by the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence to spotlight the effects domestic and intimate partner violence has on individuals, community, the state, and the nation. 1 out of every 4 women and 1 out of every 7 to 9 men will experience severe physical violence at the hands of an intimate partner sometime in their lifetime. In 2019, across the state of Tennessee, there were 50,300 women and 20,181 men who reported instances of domestic violence. What some people don't realize is that domestic and intimate partner violence can also be very subtle and include threats of violence, name-calling, financial abuse. And during COVID-19, domestic violence calls are on the rise. During the year of 2018 and 19, the Bristol, Tennessee Police Department responded to 768 domestic violence-related calls. In 2019, the Bristol, Tennessee Police Department reported that domestic-related calls accounted for 63.47% of all 911 calls. The Sullivan County Sheriff's Department responded to 1,060 domestic violence-related calls. Abuse Alternatives is in its 40th year of providing services in the cities of Bristol, Tennessee and Virginia, Upper Sullivan County, Tennessee, and Washington County, Virginia, to domestic violence victims and their children. Services are provided to all victims of domestic violence, no matter their sex, age, race, or financial status. The agency operates a temporary emergency shelter located in a confidential location for victims who have to leave their home because of abuse and they don't have another safe place to stay. Children of victims are also housed in the shelter with their parent. The agency also provides outreach services to domestic violence victims who do not reside in the emergency shelter facility. Several of the services provided by the agency to all domestic violence victims include a 24/7 crisis hotline, a 24/7 temporary emergency shelter, if needed, children's program in the emergency shelter facility, safety planning, information and referral, case management, court accompaniment, assistance with filing civil and legal documents, and a support group. Clients' personal hygiene items while residing in the emergency shelter are provided along with meals. Agency clients who have to leave their homes with only the clothes they are wearing are provided clothing through donations the agency receives from the community. Clients are never charged for any services they receive from the agency. People throughout the community can join us by wearing purple throughout the remainder of October, and businesses can spotlight the issue by displaying purple ribbons in their storefronts like those at Upscale Resale Boutique, located at 37 Midway Street, Bristol, Virginia. Join Abuse Alternatives as we shine a light on the issue of domestic and intimate partner violence in the hopes that one day all people, regardless of gender, race, national origin, education, age, ability, sexual orientation, class, or religious preference, can live their lives free of domestic and intimate partner violence. If anyone wishes to schedule a presentation or an awareness event, call me, Tammy Childress, at 423-652-9093 or email volcoordinator@abusealt.org.
We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Inside Bristol. I'm your host, Sheridan Nichols, and we're having a visit from the Bristol, Tennessee Firefighters to tell us some great safety tips to keep us safe in the kitchen. Here they are.
Good afternoon. My name is Eric Skillet from Bristol, Tennessee Fire Department. This is my partner, Moss Mill. This year's fire prevention focuses around cooking and appliances in our residence. As you can see, we have a pot on our stove. If you'll notice, our pot is towards the back of the stove, if possible, with the handle turned inward. This is to prevent any accidents of knocking the pot off to the floor or knocking it off onto the countertop, causing a grease fire. As you can see, we have a cover for our pot. Moss is using a protective oven mitt to place the cover on top of the pot. It is recommended that this cover be placed on top of the pot anytime you are cooking, as to prevent any burns or spills of a hot liquid. Also, you can see on top of our stove, we have several items. This is unacceptable. One of these items could fall into the pot, causing the oil to come out of the pot, causing a grease fire. In case we do have a grease fire, we do keep baking soda, salt, and all-purpose flour nearby, as well in conjunction using the lid of the pot. We never use water with a grease fire, as this could intensify the fire.
Hello, my name is Daryl Mears, Captain with the Bristol, Tennessee Fire Department. This is Eric Sweat, firefighter paramedic. And this week, during Fire Prevention Week, we're going to talk about safety around a coffee station or even around your coffee maker. What you have here at the fire department, we have a bun coffee maker. We make coffee every single morning, but before we leave the area, we make sure we always turn it off. We always make sure we pour out the coffee and get rid of coffee grounds. If you have this on counter with young children, you want to make sure that you're always monitoring coffee, because kids do like to come up, grab things, and pull it off, maybe pull it on themselves. So never place this in an area where you might have children to actually pull it on themselves and burn themselves. If you're around this, the plate's still going to be hot, so make sure you stay away from the plate itself. And always make sure that you're monitoring the coffee maker. If you step out of the room, come back in the room, make sure everything's safe around the coffee maker. Never leave it unattended for a prolonged period of time, and make sure the power is always off before you leave the room. So that's one of the things we talk about as far as kitchen safety, coffee maker. There'll be other things that we'll talk about in later videos, and that's what we got for the coffee maker. Now we're going to talk about the toaster. This toaster right here, you want to make sure that you periodically clean the top of it, because a lot of times you can have material sitting on the top of it, or they can fall with inside the toaster itself. Anytime that you have something that heats up or does any kind of cooking, never place anything on top of it. When the crumbs do fall inside, you want to periodically turn it over, shake it out, clean it up. That has a tendency to build up, and that stuff inside the toaster can actually catch fire. So never place anything on top of this, or even place it underneath the cabinets itself. Make sure you move it out when you use it. Next thing, we're talking about the actual skillet, the electrical skillet. The skillet itself collects oil and collects grease from the materials that you cook. So make sure that you keep this in a position to where it's not going to fall on the floor to where you might slip and fall, or a child may can get it and pull it out and burn themselves with it, because this is hot oils that falls into this pan right here. And always when you're dealing with something like this, make sure it's always in a position that it can't be pulled off onto yourself, or it can't be pulled off onto a child, because they're always curious. They want to see what you have. They want to see what you're cooking. So they're going to come up and try to grab it and pull it. So make sure you keep it away a little bit. Make sure it's farther back on your countertop so it can never be pulled away. Again, hot surface. Anytime you have a hot surface, the possibility of burning yourself. So make sure you always be careful with these types of appliances that you have. Another tip for you during Fire Week. Hope this helps you out.
Some really great tips there. Well, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to Inside Bristol. I'm your host, Sheridan Nichols, and up next, we've got April Little from the Sullivan County Health Department, and she's going to tell us the importance of mammograms. Here she is.
Hey everybody, my name is April Little. I am the Breast and Cervical Coordinator for the Sullivan County Health Department. Since October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I do want to talk to you all a little bit about the importance of getting screened regularly for breast cancer. 1 in 8 women are diagnosed with breast cancer at some point in their life, and the symptoms aren't the same for everybody. What could be a breast lump for one person could be breast pain for another, whereas some people don't have any symptoms of breast cancer at all. So it's extremely important to know what is normal for you, know how your breasts normally look and feel. That way, if there are any abnormalities, you're able to detect them quicker. You should also talk to your doctor about your family history, your personal history, and then you and your doctor can come up with a plan as far as how often you should have screening mammograms done. General rule of thumb is for those at average risk, you should start screening mammograms no later than age 50, and you should aim to have a screening mammogram done at least once every other year. And along with screening mammograms and self-breast exams, you should also try to have a healthy, balanced diet, exercise regularly, and limit alcohol intake. All of these things will help lower your risk for breast cancer and are just good overall for your general health. I also want to talk to you a little bit about the Tennessee Breast and Cervical Program. It's a wonderful program, and if you haven't heard of it, it covers the cost of screening mammograms and pap smears for those patients that qualify. It also covers like diagnostic testing if you have an abnormal result. And to be eligible, you just have to be a Tennessee resident, you have to be low income, and you have to be uninsured or underinsured. If you're interested in the program, you can give us a call at the Sullivan County Health Department at 423-279-2777, or you can visit our website, sullivanhealth.org. Again, just give us a call. We'd be happy to help you determine if you're eligible and then set you up an appointment. I do want to thank Inside Bristol for having me speak today. And if anybody has any questions, they can give us a call at the health department. Thank you.
Great information, and all of us women definitely need to go out and get a mammogram. Well, don't go anywhere. We've got Officer Green up next. Welcome back to Inside Bristol. I'm your host, Sheridan Nichols, and we've got Halloween right around the corner, and Officer Nathan Green is with us, and he's going to tell us some great safety tips to keep everyone in the family safe. Here he is.
Well, of course, Halloween is going to be different this year under these conditions with COVID. So, as always, the police department will have extra people working for this year for Halloween safety, as always. The police department just recommends that you follow the CDC guidelines and the county guidelines for trick-or-treating, which is really, it should be avoided, but there's some safety things you can do as far as that goes. If you're going to have trick-or-treaters, don't do the handout at the door. Prepare bags, leave them out for children to get individually, and don't crowd around these streets. If you approach a house and you're trick-or-treating and you see that there are pre-made treats and stuff already out, stay 6 feet away. Use your social distancing. As far as just typical Halloween safety stuff, it kind of goes hand in hand. Like, don't wear a mask over your COVID mask to make it hard to breathe. They offer a lot of Halloween themed masks that are safe for wearing for COVID, so you could it's recommended you get one of those. And of course, if you're going to be out trick-or-treating, I kind of want to touch on some of the things. Like, drivers should still be aware, just because of COVID, there's still going to be trick-or-treaters out. There just is. So slow down. Halloween night, it's Saturday, or it's going to be Saturday. So slow down. Watch for kids. They'll be out. Kids that are out, they should be going to neighborhoods they know, not going in houses, obviously, not taking candy that's not wrapped, that kind of thing, and taking their candy home for their parents to look at, as always. Parents, don't steal it. Just make sure it's okay. Don't approach pets. Don't approach a house that's not lit up. I'm I'm guessing a lot of houses won't participate this year in trick-or-treating. So if the porch light's not on, I wouldn't recommend going up to that house. This particular time with COVID and everything, I wouldn't recommend sending your kids out in a group like you typically would or you used to. If you're gonna do that, stick with neighborhoods you know. Have the kids go with neighborhoods they're familiar with. Never go in the house. Have their address on their costume somewhere. Almost everybody has a cell phone now. Make sure they have a cell phone and they'll answer it if you call to keep track of them. Pre-plan their route so you know where they're going, and check in regularly with them.
Some great tips there, and happy Halloween, and thank you all for watching us. We'll see you next time.